Everyone, it is 25 after, and so we are going to resume with our next couple of sessions here. So first up, we have our CFS panel. So in true Semper Paratus form this morning, we have a last-minute instructor substitution, and so Mark Sowers, whose picture is not on the next slide, he is going to be covering our CFS panel and moderating that for us today. We have joining us today YN1 James Lickenhoker, who is at Trace and Cape May. We have Senior Chief Ian Brown, who is in Washington, D.C. And let me just check one more time. Lieutenant Lee may have been a little delayed in joining us. I'll just check one more time. Lieutenant, have you been able to get on, and you want to do a quick mic check? All right, hopefully he will be joining us here shortly. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mark for our CFS panel. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Rebecca, and thank you, everyone tuning in and our panelists. Very much appreciate y'all's willingness to come and speak to our group. We got about close to 75 CFSs across the country, and I think they're really leaning forward and hearing what y'all have to say, because boy, y'all have the frontline experience right now. So we can come as a focal point of a training or a PFM, but y'all are really talking the language here. So so thank you all so much again. I'm gonna just ask real quick how long, if you can just real quick to mention you've been a CFS, and again, identify the unit that you're with. I think that is up on the board here, but if you just introduce yourself real quick, and Chief Brown, we'll start with you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Senior Chief Ian Brown. I'm at headquarters in the CG-SAR office in new position here. And I've been a command financial specialist since about May 2019, for about 3 years.
Okay, thank you. And Lickenhoker, I apologize if I messed up your name, but I've seen your name. I think you just came through within the last year, I think. And please forgive me if I got that wrong, but I just recognize a name there.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, so I came through tracing about last year, but I've probably been a CFS since 2019, thereabouts. So yeah, okay. Now I'm here down pushing boots, and it's been good, getting to talk to those guys.
So you're a drill, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, wow, good. Well, I'm gonna stand at parade rest when I talk to you here.
All right.
Good. Well, I'm gonna just start off, and I apologize if I seem a little rusty on the questions. They got me off the bench here, but can y'all just describe to me y'all's decision making on raising your hand and saying, hey, I wouldn't mind helping out my fellow Coast Guard members in this capacity? Can y'all describe y'all's thought process?
Yeah, Senior Chief Brown, you're asking like when we first started doing or to become a CFS?
Yeah. What brought you to the thought process to become a CFS?
My thought process was growing up, no one ever really taught me finances, so I didn't really learn finances until I joined the Coast Guard, and I made a lot of mistakes that cost me dearly, but I don't know, it must have just been perfect timing, because right after I became a CFS, shortly later we had the big Coast Guard government shutdown. So that's where I was able to, along with other CFS, of course, in all the different districts, actually, apply what we learned and try to help our fellow members, as none of us were getting paid.
Thank you. And Wyan Lickenhooker, can you elaborate as well?
Yeah, so my journey started really with Dave Ramsey. And, I was a third class with $70,000 in debt. And me and the wife kind of came together. We're like, something's got to change. Anyway, we knocked that out. And I just wanted to pay it forward, And I found out about CFS through the Coast Guard. And I was like, that's my way to pay it forward. And I've never looked back.
Wow. Good. And so in your role, Wyan Lickenhooker, you're in a really a good situation to be able to help the really young Coast Guard members as they come in. Do they search you out, or are you talking mostly to your other drill that are in your unit or so?
Pretty much all of the above. Towards the end of boot camp during debriefs that's really my time to give those guys that insight. Because we're kind of talking to them like non-race at that point. And of course, anybody in the unit have several discussions, on how to help people, and a lot of talks over beers on just how to get a grip on finances. And but yeah, it's awesome. I get to touch the recruits. I get to touch permanent party, and it's just been a good ride. Very good. Your first, I guess, chance at telling somebody about this, but on terms that they might understand. Because coming to a CFS class, there's a lot of information. So you kind of really boil it down for them when you get to talk to them one-on-one like that.
Mm-hmm. And Chief Brown, you said you're in the Coast Guard headquarters at SAR, is that right? And can you explain that the unit to everyone?
Yeah, so this is, I guess it was a blessing in disguise. So I just left Coast Guard Cutter Midgett in Hawaii. I was there for 4 years and helped pre-commission. So right when I got orders, I was hoping to go to Germany to AFRICOM, but saw this job came up as a temporary job and put this as my number 2. That's what I ended up getting picked at. But my new job now here involves working with the Office of Search and Rescue, working with international partners for search and rescue. Also for those that are in the command center, we're also developing a new version of SAR Ops, which we're putting on the web. And I'm also working on coming up creating a Coast Guard mobile application. But right now, this one of those transitional jobs, more than likely it'll become a Master Chief job come 2025. So I'm just filling in the gap, but definitely enjoying it and being able to see new perspectives and how things are done at the headquarters level. It's my first staff job, so kind of another perspective to add to my tool belt. And
again, coming back to the CFS, is how are you able to come alongside your fellow Coast Guard members, but also helping out? I think Catherine there at in headquarters.
So headquarters is a unique thing as far as there's not a CFS in every directorate or office. So of course, assisting Kat any way I can, showing up to, of course, be a panel member here because I do enjoy talking finances, but also I have the unique opportunity to kind of talk with a lot of the officers. A lot of the officers seem to be more educated at times about finances, but I've also noticed that a lot of our senior officers may not be as savvy as with finances that you think they are. So at times I've been able to discuss things with them, teach them some new things that I'm learning, and then also just got the opportunity to, I guess, assist other CFSs in different directorates that aren't sure how to best approach to get, different discussions and things out there, because there's that cliche of, okay, I'm an officer, I'm high rank, so people are going to automatically think that you're good with finances. So a lot of good, unique opportunities kind of assist and add value.
And describe to me, say if you have an individual come to you, do you go to a conference room, or do you just, are you in their cubicle, or how does that usually work, or so, for confidentiality too?
Yeah, I try to do it private, so of course. So we'll try to go to a conference room if we can. A lot of the conference rooms are always booked, but if not, sometimes we have like a pavilion that's outside. And of course, since everyone's on, the commandant's time, I noticed that right when 12:30 happens, the pavilion clears out, because all the O's got to get back to work. So I think that's like the ideal time, where try to like 1300 go out in the pavilion outside. Nobody else is out there, and yeah, talk with them in private, so I can really find out, what's going on. Because I know, personally speaking, I've been there when I was first class. My XL telling me that I should have known better about some finances. So I noticed that the higher rank you go, there seems to be some kind of shame at times of not being as good with finances that people perceive that you should be. So do it in private. Try to invite them for lunch or something like that if I can.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, just I guess, is a casual conversation about finances? Because when Lincoln Hooker, you were talking about over beers with your fellow, in quotes, right? But just come alongside them. Is that right? Is that?
Yep, that's right. I've even taken it further. I'll bring them over if it's like a couple, like a Coast Guard couple. We'll bring them over, have dinner. We'll just talk. Just because it's it's for recruits. I take my hat off. Like we're here to have you actually understand what we're saying. Kind of like judgment free, and there's it's just advice. Take it or leave it. So that's how I try to take the pressure off and keep it confidential.
Yeah, it's and again, what a great positions both y'all are in. You're able to really change lives, right? And going off that, could you describe to me, some of your, please don't, of course, releasing, individual names, but can you describe to me some of the conversations or the individuals that you've been with, and to help along the way?
Yeah, so I had a second class. We met as soon as I got here, and they came over and they had a kid, and our kids got along. And anyway, just a good night over drinks and dinner. And through our time here, we've really bonded. And one time, he brought his pay stub to me with his bank account information and showed me. And he's like, I have never seen this amount of money, in my 25 years of life. And so, he tried to give me all the credit, but I'm like, no, man, that was you. That was your discipline. I just showed you a roadmap, but you did the work. So that was definitely one story that, I'll probably always remember. And definitely a reason why I do it. I wish everybody could have that type of outcome,
Just follow up. We can't keep records, so to speak, but have they come back and talked to you or so and say, hey, the drill, appreciate it, or anything like that, or so?
Oh yeah, a lot of conversations at work and off the clock, and really that was him getting out of debt, was showing me his bank account, because he was living paycheck to paycheck. But that is no longer the case.
And Chief Brown, can you
Yes.
describe?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so two of the unique opportunities I had, both were at my last unit. One is being a CFS, and at first it seemed like a conflict of interest. I also was the assistant command security officer. So I noticed, of course, once folks found that out, if they had financial issues, they wouldn't talk to me. Completely understand that. But when I was doing check-ins, I do a lot of check-ins with a lot of the new non-rates and new folks, and it was good to see some folks have some financial background, but I was able to basically walk folks through the thrift savings plan setup step by step, because a lot of them they didn't have time to do that while they're at boot camp or while they're A school. So they show up and they're like, all right, well, I know I got to add to my TSP in order to get the different, the Coast Guard matching the funds. So I'd sit there and show them how to do it step by step, along with giving them some budgeting. But also another unique opportunity during the government shutdowns, or just in general, actually, because it just happened with Hurricane Ian, pun not intended. Yeah, we had a lot, because a lot of the destruction and everything, being part of the Chiefs mess, because I'm aware of finances and as far as some of the different legal aspects, able to leverage my position as a senior chief with the mess to advocate for our members for the Chief Petty Officer Association to also donate to the cause, to assist. And as part of, every time we donate, we always say, hey, if I take the opportunity to let them know I'm a command financial specialist, and if they ever want to talk finances or look for advice, I tell them I'm a book of mistakes of all the things you should not do. I've been in 18 years. It took me 18 years to get out of financial ruin. So if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, great stories, both of y'all, because it sounds like both have gone through the trenches, so to speak, and hard knocks of learning how to manage finances. And y'all have gone through different avenues, like Dave Ramsey, or going through the CFS program. It sounded like that it helped both of y'all. So let me ask you something. Is that because you talked about the Chiefs mess, Chief Brown? Is that how do you get the word out about, for example, the program? We've had some individuals come in and talk, and it's really revealing that maybe some of the programs are not getting spread out or so. And do you have ideas how best to spread the message about our program?
Yeah, so my tactics are, I try to make them simple as possible, boots on the ground style. The best way to do it is when you have folks check in, just brief them on it, as far as if you've got every, cutter or unit typically has a command chief, command master chief. That person there could also say, hey, be aware, you have different resources if you need anything. But as a command financial specialist, and say, hey, also, by the way, now we're done with our check-in. If you ever get into any kind of financial hardship, before you just default to go with the Coast Guard mutual assistance loan or anything like that, please talk to me so we can get a vote out with the Chief Petty Officer Association. We also let them know that there's the Chief Warrant Association, and there's also the Coast Guard Enlisted Association. So there's 3 different associations out there that you can get funding from. And then also let them know if they don't feel comfortable with Coast Guard folks, they can talk with the Navy Marine Corps Relief Society. At times they have grants that they'll give to you as a Coast Guard or military member. And as far as the way that the funding works is, if they owe the Coast Guard money, they'll just, back pay them at the end of the year. But try to give them those 4 options. I love Coast Guard Mutual Assistance. I've been donating since I first joined, but because it's a loan, you got to pay it back. So my default's always to go with grants or donations first.
And when Lincoln Hooker, do you see a lot of use of CGMA, or do the recruits come to you on that? Or I would assume that maybe they come in with some more problems than maybe more veteran Coast Guard members.
Sorry, I was responding to that one. Can you just repeat it real quick?
Oh, sure. Yes, sir. And again, you being in the position of a drill, do you see the use of CGMA in your arena?
Yeah, so we take people from all walks of life. So we've had people get on the bus at the shelter and they show up here, and they want a shot, their chance at becoming a member in Blue. So, there's times where they'll call and be like, "Hey, my wife said she's going to be kicked out of housing, or I can't pay the car note," and they're going to take it. Like, these are all stories that I've dealt with, and CGMA does step in as soon as we hear that. They go to the yeoman and we get them hooked up with CGMA. I've sent a lot of people to Miss Roar, so we have a pretty fluid relationship here on base. So yeah, we see it a lot, actually.
Yes, I assume that's a great handoff, I'm sure, and I'm sure Sarah comes in and does a great job for that. So yes, thank you for that teamwork. That's great. And so, yes, sir.
Hey, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. I was saying that you was answering the questions. I thought you pulled that question from the chat, correct?
I just looked at one, but no, sir, go ahead. You go ahead if there's a chat.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was how often do the CFSs in the panel refer members to the PFM? And I think you were answering that question. I was just trying to catch up, and I didn't know you were pulling questions from the students right now.
Oh, I was about to get to that. Yes, appreciate it. Yes. So, Will, can you're a whole lot better at this on the chat than I am, but can you read off some things that I did not cover? So.
Okay, I had only seen one question that was in the chat so far. I got one from Mr. Brown. He says, if two CFSs come from the same command, conduct the joint training for their unit, does that one count for one of the 4 trainings requirements due quarterly? So that was a question. I don't know if it's just for the CFSs that's on a panel or for the PFM. I would have both of the CFSs counted as training, since they're sitting there together at the same unit doing training together, if I'm reading the question correct.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ms. Brown. And so that coincided with what Tawana was talking about. There's some requirements on y'all's behalf. How hard is that to maintain? I think Tawana talked about there's 4, bear with me, excuse me, 2 forums and 4 interviews or so, or outreach programs that y'all have to participate in. Is that right? And can you elaborate on y'all's ability to achieve that?
Yeah, it's not that difficult if you just kind of just forward thinking, think outside the box. So one of the easiest things that I found through the Navy, talking to my Navy partners,